Hey guys, welcome back to another video of mixing in Ableton. In our previous episodes, we have seen how to prep a mix and arrange our tracks, and how to approach a rough mix to familiarize ourselves with the song at hand. Today, we are going to dive deep in the mix, and we will start by working on the foundation of our track, the low end. I will show you how to manage it, starting by working on the kick and bass and making sure you have definition in the low end. We will talk about sidechain functions and how we can utilize this technique to get definition in the low end. You can definitely apply it in different genres. So without further ado, let's check it out. Alright guys, so I'm gonna start by unmuting first kick. You can see here we have a number of them. And take a listen. I'll open my EQ8 analyzer so I can actually see what's happening with the kick. You can see there's a bit of energy around 45 Hertz and big bump around 60 Hertz, so I really want to control that. There's also a bit of energy around 600 Hertz, which I really want to control, and anything beyond 3K you can ignore. So I'll start by cutting that off first. Maybe take 2 decibels around the 130 Hertz range. Much better. And I'll cut off at 30 Hertz just to make that lower subharmonics controlled. Much better. That bit of energy around 600 Hertz, I'll take down 2 to 3 decibels off it. Let's activate that. I think that's better now. So that's how we started. And this is after. What I would like to do next is manage that kick dynamics. So I have here Mag DSP multiband compressor. I will start by a 3-to-1 rate and take a listen. Remember, you really want to achieve that consistency in the low end and still have a bit of movement. And I'll activate the lower mids. Better. I'm using here a rate of 4-to-1 on the lower mids and 3-to-1 on the low end. I find those settings are the most transparent. I'm using 2.6 attack and 147 released as short as possible so I can hear the next hit. So again, this is before. After. This is how we started with this kick. Before. with the EQ and the multiband in. That's really good. Next, I'll open the next kick. Let's listen to it. Can you hear there's a lot of energy going on around the 55 hertz area, so we really want to control that. Let's take a listen again. That tone in the part where it has all the body around 240, 250 hertz, I really want to emphasize that. I want to boost it a little bit. So I will start there and maybe start by 2 decibels. I'm using a wide EQ to boost the subharmonics around that frequency as well. That's good. Now I'm gonna cut 55 hertz around that area. There's a lot of energy going on there. Much more controlled. And let's remove anything beyond 30 hertz. So I'm gonna do a low cut there. That's pretty clean. And as you can see, anything beyond 2.5K we don't need. So I'm gonna cut that off as well. So this is before. After. Great. So as we said before, we really want to control those dynamics. So I have here Mac DSP multiband compressor. I'm going to start by a 3-to-1 rate on the lower end. That's good. Let's push the threshold a little bit. Right, you can definitely hear that. So let's start the 4-to-1 rate and see how it goes. This is good. So this is how we started with a kick before the multiband. After. There are some subharmonics around the 30 hertz area that I really want to remove. So I'm going to take those down a couple of dBs more. So let's hear with that EQ in. There, better. So this is how we started without the EQ and the multiband in. And this is with both the EQ and the multiband in. Great. Next, we'll move on to the bass. So we have here an 808 and the main bass. So let's start by activating the main bass. So that's just one note playing on the downbeat of every bar. So Start by adding some EQ. What I'm trying to achieve here is I'm controlling those lower subharmonics around the 80 hertz. I also want to cut a little bit around the 70-75 area. That's better. There's some energy around the higher mids that I really want to control, just to make it nice and consistent. Where that resonance is, so I think it's around 6 to 5. And I'll take those down by 3 decibels. Better. So this is before. After. That's good. What I would like to do next is put on a compressor to achieve that consistency in the bass. What I have here is a glue compressor. I'm using a 2-to-1 rate, so I'm not pushing it too much, and I'm using a slow attack here. That makes it nice and consistent and yet still transparent. So this is before. After. Alright, the last thing we're going to do to this track is add a bit of overdrive. So what I have here is Ableton's stock overdrive. I'm using a 30% drive. Just emphasizes that tone and gives it a bit of character. So this is before. After. This is how we started with that bass. And now with everybody in. Maybe that resonant frequency is a bit too loud, but we'll see how it goes from here. If it's a bit too loud, we'll take it down in the mix. That's not a problem. Let's open the 808 and see what we have. So let's unmute that. That's a lot of energy. So let's see what we have. You can see here there's that big bump around 40 hertz. We really want to control that because that's gonna muddy up the mix, and that's something you don't want at all. There's also a bit of energy around 200 hertz that we really need to reduce a little bit and tame. Okay, so we'll start by the 40 hertz. That's better. So I'll also take down that area around the 200 hertz. I'm using a shelving EQ here. So starting from 200 hertz, anything beyond that is being cut off in that slope. I think we really need to boost that body of the 808 a little bit. So I'll start by 2 decibels, around 274. So this is before. After. It's really good. Next is I would like to add a compressor and sidechain that to the kick we have. That technique will help us keep definition in the low end and still maintain some movement. So I'm just going to trigger that with the kick we have and use a fairly medium attack and slow-ish release. My rate is 2 to 1. You can hear that slight pumping effect, and that's what we really want to achieve. So this is before, after, much better. The next thing I want to do is add a compressor for consistency to manage the dynamics of that 808, because the last thing you want is an inconsistent 808 in the mix. So I'm going to open glue compressor. So I'm using the fastest release possible here. Very transparent 2 to 1 rate. So this is before, after, to recap, this is how we started with this 808. And this is after. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please, as ever, subscribe and hit the notification button. Have fun mixing, and I will see you soon.